Hello, welcome to the part 3 video for the Capstone America teachers to learn about Edmodo. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how you create your classes or your groups. Let me start by clicking on my home screen. This is what it will look like when you first enter Edmodo. Now in the last video, you should have followed those instructions and you should have already created your teacher account. So you should be able to do the same thing that I'm doing here on this screen. So when you enter Edmodo for the first time, Edmodo creates a class for you. In Edmodo, they call them groups. So each group is a class for you. And so you can click on that. It probably used your name and your grade level and maybe your subject to name the class, but you can change the name and probably should change the name to something that you would prefer. In order to do that, you're going to, once you click on the class and you're in the class settings, there's a little gear to the right of the name. You're going to click on that, and the first choice is group settings. Get yourself into the group settings so that you can see what you can change about the group. Here's where you'll be able to change the name of the group. Right now, I called this group Math 101, but you feel free to name it however you want to, and there's a few other choices that you can take a look and decide if they are appropriate for what you want this class to be. Once you're done, always make sure you click Save the Settings so that any changes you made take place. If you ever get lost, always click on the home button. That will always bring you back to the main news feed, and it will show you your groups over here. Right now I only have one group. If you're going to teach more than one class, you should make separate groups for each class. So if I needed to make another class, maybe I was also going to teach Math 102, right next to the word groups is a little plus sign. If I click on that, I can create another class. Again, let's call that Math 102. And I would select the other features that are appropriate, whether it's a range and the subject area and so forth. It does also, again, ask you for a group size and some description. Once you create a new group, it puts you into the settings for that specific group. But I'm going to go back to the home page to show you that I now have two separate classes, and in your feed you can decide when you're creating posts, and we'll cover this in more detail later, but when you create a post, you can then decide if it's going to go to just one class, the other, or both. Or you can have several classes. Okay, so you'll notice that each class has a square next to it. They happen to be the same color. If you have a lot of classes and you want to use those colors to help you organize your classes, you can click on Show All, and it'll show you all of the groups that you have, and then you could just click on the color, and if you wanted to change one to a different color for some reason, you can do that over in that section. And again, get back to Home, and that brings you back to the main screen where you can see your main feed. Now the main thing you're going to want to do with each class, obviously, is invite students to join that class so that you can use Edmodo as a learning portal. So I'm going to click on my Math 101, the red one here, and up at the top it gives me a code. This is the group code. This is what students will need to receive from you in an email so that they will be able to associate themselves with this class. Right now you'll see that I have one member, but that one member is myself as the teacher. I have no students in this class yet until I send this group code out. Obviously, you should only send that code to the students that are in that specific class. And then once the students create their Edmodo account and put in the group code, they will have a similar screen. And if they're taking more than one class, they may have more than one group over here, in which case their news feed might include your posts And their news feed might also include posts from another teacher if they're taking more than one class with us. If you need to send your group code to a student, let's say a student enters late, or for whatever reason, if you come to the group code and you see this locked button, you can just click on this padlock. The locked means new students cannot be added. And the idea is that once you sort of have your class created and students have joined, you may not want extra people being added to your class accidentally, or if some student gives the code to someone else, and if all of a sudden you see unrecognized students joining your class, you would want your class locked so that that cannot happen. So if you need to unlock the class, you can do so just by clicking that padlock, and it will give you a new class unlock, a class join code, which you can then share with anyone else that needs to join your class. That is going to be the end of this part 3 video, in which we covered very quickly how to create a group and how to invite students to join your specific classes. Always remember, if you get lost, click on the home. That brings you back to your main feed, and it shows you whatever groups you have.